Good evening. I'm sorry I'm not with you to celebrate the anniversary of the European, but I want to first offer my congratulations. It's a pretty amazing thing these days to start new media brands. I'm also delighted that this particular brand lives on. I worked with Robert Maxwell back in the days when the European was under his ownership, and though it went overboard as he did, I'm glad that it's back alive and growing. I believe in entrepreneurship as the future of journalism and media. That doesn't mean the institutions will go away, but the innovation is going to come from entrepreneurs like those behind the European. People who have the courage and the vision to start a new product and who have the advantage of the web to do it very inexpensively thanks to all the tools we have. So, once again, congratulations. I was asked to talk about a few of the trends that I see coming in media, so I'll spend just a few minutes doing that and then get back to my work here in New York. One trend I see is the shifting importance of the brand online. Brands were, of course, the magnet that drew people to media. They were the means of discovering content. We had to go buy the magazine or buy the newspaper or come to the show on schedule. Well, now, of course, online, that's not so much the case. Search changed that. It changed the relationship of the reader to the content in kind of a 180-degree shift. The transaction no longer starts with the creator of the content. The transaction now starts with the reader who asks a question. And if you're there, you get an answer. You're seen. If you're not, you don't exist. Algorithms also came along to try to categorize fresh and current content, that is to say, news. But the big, important thunderstorm we see coming our way is the importance of human links, peers links. Eric Schmidt at Google says that Google causes 4 billion clicks a month to publishers. 1 billion of those from Google News. Schmidt says that Google provides 10,000 opportunities a minute for publishers to create relationships with those readers. And by the way, I think that if those relationships are not created and value is not found, well, that's not Google's fault. That's the publisher's fault in our new world. But now we see human links coming along. So Bitly, which is used to shorten addresses in Twitter, a few months ago passed the mile mark of 4 billion clicks a month. Now, that's a bit of an apples to kumquats comparison there because Bitly just sends to anything, not just publishers. But then again, it's just part of Twitter, and Twitter is just a fraction the size of Facebook. So the power of links from people recommending content, I think, could even eclipse the power of search and perhaps that of brands. Now, brands will still have value, but no longer as a magnet that draws us there to start with. Instead, when we see choices for content, choices for reporting, through search, through algorithms, and through our friends and peers' links, then the brand has value as a label. And we come to this brand and we say, aha, given those 4 choices, this is the one I'll pick because I know who they are. And that's the important thing about starting something like the European. It creates a new brand, a new home for content. But in these days, it cannot sit back and wait for us to come to it. We have to figure out how to make content spreadable, like peanut butter, all across the web. Find all the possible ways we have for our readers to become our distributors. And of course, our readers also become our collaborators. The other big trend that I see in media these days is the notion that we pass from media as a product to media as a process. You know, the media was only a product because Herr Gutenberg invented the press and you had to get it down and get it pressed once 570 years ago. And we've been living with that structure for that long. But now on the web, we kind of return to an age of passing things around and seeing things as a process. And so I think that we have to change our view of how we do media. Rather than thinking that we have one story, we get it all done, finished, then we hand it to the world. Instead, we see reporters these days going to Twitter, going to Facebook, going to other services, and telling the audience, the people formerly known as the audience, what they're working on. They get help for this. They figure out what to do. They ask questions. They find out what people want to know. Thus, when we think of journalism as a process instead of a product, it inevitably becomes more collaborative and more constructive. And so I think there's a way that we can view communities of news as communities that create content together. And again, a brand like the European can act as a convener. It can bring people together to do this, but the journalists have to look at what they do differently. I talk a lot about the link economy, And I think that some people expect that links are going to be able to pay for all of media the way it was paid for in the past. Sorry, but it's not going to happen. We no longer live in a world of scarcity. We live in a world of abundance. And again, the fact that the European can launch is testament to that. When I worked for Robert Maxwell at the New York Daily News, where I was Sunday editor, the European had just launched in print. It was incredibly expensive. It was beautiful. He had magnificent new printing plants, beautiful paper, great new production facilities. But that was Robert Maxwell. He spent too much money, which was his problem in life. Still, you can't imagine starting a brand and a product like that today, and you don't have to. The web makes it possible to start something because we have very free and inexpensive tools to do it, blogging and so on. Then it makes it possible because people can spread it around. You don't have to spend the fortune on marketing. It makes it possible because you don't need the physical cost of getting the paper out there. It's a magnificent new time. So while the big institutions of media are, in fact, having trouble trying to grapple with how to succeed and survive in this new world, I remain an optimist about the future of media and journalism because it is possible to start new products like this, because it is inexpensive and efficient, and because it is collaborative and creates a new relationship with the public. That's why here at CUNY, the City University of New York, where I'm speaking to you, we've started the Center for Entrepreneurial Journalism. We're going to offer the first master's degree in entrepreneurial journalism. We're doing a lot of research into new business models for news. And we're going to start an incubator and I hope an investment fund to invest in new companies like the European. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to be these new companies as big and powerful as the old ones. No, there'll be many more of them. They'll be smaller. They'll be more efficient. They'll have new roles in news and journalism. Not just creating content, but curating it. Not just delivering content, but collaborating on it. Not just creating a product they have to market, but also hoping the audience markets for them. These are all new great opportunities of the media world. So today, when you celebrate the anniversary of the European, also celebrate, I hope, the birth and the proof of a new world of entrepreneurship, a new birth of many new brands, many new ways to do news, many new models. That's what this shows. That's what the European proves is possible. So, congratulations. Good night.